All right. Hello, everyone. This is Zencash Biweekly Update, December 27th, the last update of the year. So we have kind of a special set of updates we want to give you guys, where we basically want to talk about where we've come from and where we're going and highlight a lot of that, and definitely highlight the growth of our team, which I think is probably the most amazing part of what we've done so far. So this is me, Rob Viglione at FinPunk, and Rolf Versluis at BlockOps. So let's just dive right in and talk about the big picture of where we are now. So I think what's really on our minds is the 2018 focus, because this industry is just accelerating so fast, and there's just a ton of competition out there. So what we've been doing the last 6 months is really, launching and working on infrastructure from the technology perspective, but then also infrastructure from the organizational perspective, and trying to just come together as a team and parse out work and be productive and efficient. And I think where we've come has been pretty amazing. So I'm going to highlight where we're going primarily in this conversation, but really the team is growing worldwide, and I think this is one of our biggest assets, is the fact that we started off as a team of a handful of people, and right now we're looking at I think we're pushing probably, depending on how you count the team, 50 people or more, and the community is just exploding. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about the development updates, always a major part of what we're doing, the integrations, the outreach, and then of course one of the biggest projects on everyone's minds these days is the secure note system. Highlight how rapidly it's growing and what we're doing on the payment side there to get the first bulk batch payments out. Then we'll talk about the regional activity, the ramp ups in different regions, new regions, which are very exciting. And then we'll hand it over to the marketing team and talk about the updates we have there, talk about results of some of the campaigns that we've just started recently, and where we are with the big rebranding effort. And we have a ton of events and conferences that we've been going to, which I think has been key to our growth. But also we'll map out some of where we think we're going to go this next year and put together a bit of a comprehensive strategy. So just going into the next slide here, I think it's pretty cool starting every live stream with just community member highlights. So the community is awesome, and every 2 weeks we just have new people stepping up and doing amazing stuff for us. So 4 guys here we want to mention is Jason at Num from the community forums. He's been helping out, or been doing a great job with secure node support and ledger development support. So I want to give a shout out there. Kevin's been doing an awesome job helping us out on the ledger testing, which you can see right here. We're putting a major effort into getting ledger integration squared away, ready to hit market for our community. Kaspers has been doing a great job. He's actually head of the Latvian Blockchain Foundation and been a really big supporter for us. So Eastern Europe is a really important market for the project, and it's really cool to see key people from the community out there stepping up and helping out. So he actually recently has helped us out with some graphics and introduced us to our new one of our new graphic designers on the team. And Antonio been doing a great job with translations and helping keep us in line with Twitter, making sure that everything there is good. And if we ever do something that doesn't make sense on Twitter, he's always quick to point it out. Absolutely huge. We need this kind of community level support. So it's been really great having that. So, okay. So just to jump in and talk about where I think we're heading in 2018. So this is going to be a major expansion year for us. And we have a whole set of things that are going on that if you want to look directly, go check out our public Trello board, where you can see right now we have a development roadmap. But I'll have to say we're going to be adding new Trello boards up there. So not everything that we do is technology development. We also have a ton of work going into business development and marketing. So at a minimum, you're going to see 2 additional Trello boards be made public for those 2 domains. And we'll probably also make Trello boards for other things that we're doing, say with community or regional outreach and what country managers are doing. So some of the things that I want to highlight that I think are a really big deal for this project for 2018 is number one, we're launching this Operation Radical Transparency because we're talking about having a transparent blockchain project that's massively decentralized. But really, what do we mean by that? And are we really transparent and decentralized if we have, a handful of people that are making all decisions, and if decisions aren't being explicitly made public so that people can trace the rationale for the decisions and everything that's going on? So one project that I added to the roadmap that's really important to me is that we make all of our community decisions and spending publicly available. So this is something that we have in this industry. We have now, because things have exploded so rapidly, there are some foundations out there that have enormous war chests of resources, and they're really not that transparent. And we can't claim to be all that transparent either yet. We try to be, and we try to be as public and available as we can, but we can do a much better job. So that's where I really want to take the first part of 2018 and go back and do a much better job at making sure that we are all held accountable to the community directly, and that everything that we do is transparent. So the way I envision this is I want to have a nice portal where the decisions that we make for, say, resource allocation are aggregated into spending categories, say like marketing categories, development categories, and people can see real time what we're spending money on. So that's a project that's kind of, something that I want to push hard for. But we also have some really amazing research projects, and we're going to be talking about a lot more detail of these projects as we go. We've been kind of alluding to them, and we have some firm contracts that we're working on that will make more explicit announcements with more explicit project plans, so people can see exactly what we're working on. But a big part of this all is our organizational scaling. So we've gone from a few people launching this project to now 50 plus people working on the project. So the organizational discipline that we have has to change. And we're working hard internally to try to make sure that we craft very explicit roles and responsibilities, and we make sure that the right people are in the right roles and that we're all held accountable. So if you make money by working on this project, we need to be able to show the community exactly what that person was doing. So this is all part of kind of this operational radical transparency, is that for anyone that we're paying for the project, including the founders, we need to make sure that we have good justification for the allocations that we're giving them. A major part of any blockchain project, because we are kind of a technology startup, is the team that we have working on the technology. So I'll say for 2018, we've been ramping up already significantly on our technology team, our engineering team. And we have some really cool announcements this presentation, but we'll continue to make announcements. Our goal is to have about 8 to 10 developer clusters around the world, because we want to be massively decentralized. And a big part of being decentralized is actually having decentralized teams around the world and not having, say, 1 or 2 key developers making all of the comments to our GitHub repo. So we're working hard on adding new and key talent to the project, which you'll see some of that here, but we'll make it much more explicit with our rebrand. And when the new website goes live, you'll see we'll have different developer teams working on different types of projects, so that we can have this very ambitious roadmap where we have a large number of projects being worked in parallel. Okay, so other things that are really important for us, and now the common thread here is decentralization. So every subsystem of the project, including the liquidity for the transaction volume that we have traded, we need to decentralize. And what that means is we know we have a handful of exchange listings right now, and we know that there's one or two that dominate the liquidity. We know that we have to decentralize. So that's a big item on our list. And we're having a lot of feedback from the community of getting more exchange listings. I'll say that we take this very seriously, and it's something that we're working actively all the time. So we have some things that we'll probably be announcing in the next probably by the next live stream or the one after that. But just want you guys to know that this is something that we're not sitting on, and we're actually taking very seriously. Now, so we've got organizational stuff, we've got transparency, we've got exchange listings. Now, the really cool geeky stuff that I think we need to start talking about in more detail is highlighting our research and development efforts. So what we have going on in 2018 for R&D. Now, we've been talking about a protocol level voting system for a while now. And this is part of our white paper. And now we're finally going to start work on what we call our decentralized autonomous organization, or protocol level treasury model, where we're going to bake into the protocol, into the source code for the project, a voting system, which then is censorship resistant, and it applies game theoretic research to make sure that we design optimal voting mechanisms, or at least better voting mechanisms that currently exist on the market. So that's a really exciting project. Now we need to decentralize the resource allocation decisions, and that's exactly what we're doing with this DAO Treasury Model R&D effort. Now there will be more details on this made explicit in the coming weeks. In particular, we'll share project plans and how we plan on, or how we're resourcing this, and the actual path to completion on the project. Another big R&D effort that we're working is a scalability study. So we're looking at all of the available on and off chain scaling solutions that are available, and we're going to be in particular diving deep into a graph-based solution. So a directed acyclic graph, a DAG, which would be very similar to IOTA. So for people who are familiar with IOTA and DAG-based solutions, this is kind of next generation blockchain, or at least one solution path that people talk about to upgrading blockchains, kind of like a V2 or like next generation blockchain type system, where we actually do away with the blocks themselves and we have transactions validating other transactions. And the key thing here is that when we scale, we're not scaling linearly by block, we're scaling exponentially. Yeah, so that's going to be an extremely exciting study that's going to put us in the same technology space as IOTA, at least on the scaling front. Okay, so that's going to be a very interesting project. And again, in the coming weeks, we'll be releasing project plans and more detail about the teams working on this stuff. So just bear with us and get excited, because we absolutely are. We're also working on, we've talked about censorship resistant document publishing in the past. This is a key part of our white paper, our technology roadmap. So there's a few different ways that you can do this. And the first path that we were looking at was IPFS integration into our wallets, so that people can directly publish from our wallets to IPFS. Now, what we're considering here for a longer-term R&D project is our own distributed file storage system. So we have a team that's already looking at speccing out this project to use our node architecture to create our own file storage system. So this could be a really big deal for the project. Of course, we're still in the preliminary R&D phases here, and people should always realize that when you're doing R&D, there's always this risk of failure, there's risk of implementation that isn't quite as successful as you would hoped, and of course, there's always the potential upside of things working fabulously. So, but keep in mind, these are experimental R&D projects. So, take it with a grain of salt. It's really fun stuff and cool that we're looking at it, but still R&D phase. And then we have this secure node system right now that is still in beta on mainnet. So we went from secure node beta from testnet, we migrated that over to mainnet, and we started scaling much more rapidly than we actually thought that we would. So we'll have some of the team there talk in a lot more detail of what's going on, but we know that, so this is an off-chain solution that we currently have implemented using server clusters around the world to do the tracking and then the payment system. So the next evolution of this that we're already starting to look at is designing this secure node system into the protocol itself. So whenever I say into the protocol, I mean into the source code for the project. Now, this could help us scale rapidly, and it could also make the system itself massively censorship resistant. So this is a really big deal and something that we want to continue looking at. Okay. So that's where we're going for 2018, just kind of a snapshot of where we're going. So the development roadmap that you see online on Trello right now has a lot more detail, including the people from the team that are working on each of these areas. But let's take a step back and think about where we've come. Since we're at the end of 2017 right now, and we're going to be going into the new year, let's just take a step back and think. So we just launched in the end of May 2017. So we're about 6 months into the project. And to think that where we came from 6 months ago, I have to say 6 months ago, we were a bunch of amateurs compared to where we are today. And 6 months from now, the project will look even more different in a very good way. So when we launched, we did a really simple, well, not simple, but we did a fork from Z Classic. And some of the first things we had to do, well, we had to get listed on an exchange. We got into Bittrex right away, which is great for the project. But we had to also do this replay protection into our code so that transactions couldn't be replayed from the Z Classic network to our network or vice versa. Okay, so it was a really big deal for us to do. It was a technical challenge, and we had some imperfect implementation or imperfect launch. Okay, but the good thing about the project was we had a strong community from the start that we inherited from Z Classic. We had some very enthusiastic people from that community that followed us over here, and that was awesome because it gave us a great launching point. So then from launch to the next set of steps that we did was, okay, we had to rush to bring wallets to market so people could actually use, store, send, receive Zen. Okay, we didn't just want this to be trading on Bittrex, but then you can't do anything with it. So we designed a few wallets right away. We had a team working in blockchain upgrades right away, in particular the replay protection stuff. And because our launch with the replay protection was imperfect, we actually had 24 replay transactions on the network. And it was really, really important to us that we made the victims whole, because doing the right thing and taking the moral high ground is a key part of this project. So we repaid all 24 victims of the replay protection. That was a big milestone for us. It was cool. We technically fixed the implementation so that it never happened again. We added a whole bunch of other technical features to the core code itself, like multi-signature. We fixed the multi-signature, addresses or transactions from those addresses on our code. We did some other modifications to the Z address requirements on the community funds. Importantly, though, we added OpenSSL integration and some key Zcash upstream improvements to the protocol. Then we released our web wallets. We have an online wallet. We have our full node wallet with Swing. We had our light client wallet released to market with Arisen. Okay, we got listed on Evercoin so we can have no account needed exchange, buy and sell Zen with our cryptocurrencies. So we had a whole bunch of early improvements and releases, product releases. Now, our design mentality has always been release a minimum viable product to market, get customer feedback, improve, iterate, rinse, repeat. Okay, so that's been our mentality, and then that's kind of what we've been doing with our products. So we know we have to improve all of our products, and we have plans to do that for each of them. We've released Zen Chat, so now we have our secure messaging protocol built into our Swing wallet and a standalone app, which we still need more community feedback on, by the way. We integrated TLS into the protocol, so TLS, certificate integration. We have a Zencash Tor dedicated nodes released on the network. We got integrated into a bunch of other exchanges, Cost.io, Cryptopia, Bisq, so on. So we've been moving forward. We even launched a small merchant integration program where we had coin payments and coin to pay integrated Zen, which is great because now their merchant networks could now accept Zen in addition to a variety of other cryptocurrencies. And we have more blockchain improvements, and kind of the cycle continues. So going into the end of the year here, our secure node network just went live, beta on mainnet. Okay, so we still have to fix some bugs there and make things more efficient. We have some key R&D contracts that we've been working in the background. We'll have more information on. Our development teams expanding significantly in an amazing direction that we'll talk more about. We're working on the secure node beta payments coming near term. We'll talk about that. And we have increased number of listings. And we have growth in our regional markets. We got integrated into Coinomi for a multi-wallet integration on a mobile device. And we have a variety of other stuff that we're working. So that's in a nutshell 2017. And I just raced through it quickly because we've actually done so much work on this project in just 6 months. So I want to remind everyone that we're only 6 months old, and now we're at a point where we've grown so rapidly that now we need to professionalize and reorganize to make sure that when we go forward in the next 6 months, we do so much more efficiently. Okay, so part of this reorganization, let's go to the next slide. on the new team members. So new team members and getting the right people into the right role is absolutely important for what we're doing. Okay, so I'm really happy to announce a major addition to the team. A company named Code Particle has 4 dedicated senior developers and system architects who are joining the Zen team. And I'll talk about I'll talk more detail about these 4 individuals, but just suffice it to say, so Code Particle, these guys are going to be working on their core area will be blockchain improvements. So making sure that our core code is constantly improving, and they'll be working on the organizing our development process to help organize the rest of our developer teams, because we have so many people working on this project now. We need to make sure that we're doing things in more of a professional manner. So we're an open source project, so anyone in the world can participate. And I definitely recommend or encourage anyone to join the project. Check out our GitHub repo and write code improvements yourself and do the pull requests. But what's equally important is we need to start organizing the team that we currently have and professionalizing the process, implementing a basic ticketing system and so forth. And these guys will also be working on special projects for us. So a really big deal that we have these guys on our team. We just got Alberto Garofalo from, he's a senior software architect, network engineer, and the first thing that he's doing, he's already diving into our core code and looking at how our nodes, pick up other nodes on the network and how they communicate with each other. Some of the basic stuff with our core protocol, he's already taking a look at and suggesting improvements. So that's really awesome. But the big project that Alberto is going to be working on is our ZenPub implementation, in particular, architecting our own distributed file storage system for ZenPub. So leveraging our secure node architecture in our network to have our own in-house solution. So this could be a really big deal for the project. Very happy to have Alberto on the team. Now, we realized that, so the first 6 months have been all about infrastructure and like some of the core technology stuff. But now we're at the point where we're starting to really think about refining our marketing, our communications, our graphic designs. So I'm very happy to welcome Linda onto the team, who's an amazing graphic designer. And she's already, what I love about her is that her method to join the team was basically submitting a whole bunch of really cool graphics and saying, here you go. This is what I give this to the project because I really love and support the project, but I'm happy to help out, in greater capacity. So I think that's to me, one of the best ways to join this project is start contributing, become an integral member of the community, and then we add you to the team and just kind of enhance your level of participation. So that's what she's doing. She's helping out with content creation, and she's collaborating with our marketing team at Crypto Media Hub. Also extremely happy to welcome Ross Kenyon. Now, he has a wealth of other cryptocurrency project experience, everything from Tezos to SweetBridge to Nori, which is a wonderful environmental blockchain project, working on carbon sequestration, and now he's helping us. Now, his core competency is on communication strategy, so he's helping us with some basic stuff like, what's our core message to the world? Like, what's our value proposition? And distill this into a simple communication, sequence so that we don't stumble when people ask us, hey, what's your elevator pitch? What makes Zen different? We need to have a really simple, concise way of saying this to the world. And that's what Ross is working on primarily. And then he's going to translate that into a whole series of video productions. Really simple, what is Zen type of videos, but simple, but extremely important to the project. So really happy to have Ross on the team as well. And continuing to the next slide for new team members, want to introduce Lucy to the project, another phenomenal graphic designer. Now, she's from China, and she's already helped us out tremendously with a Chinese campaign that we're going to be launching in the next couple weeks. And she's a photographer, an artist. So we're stepping up our level of design and design and marketing to the next level, which I think is going to pay big dividends for the project. Now, we're also expanding our community outreach in different regions. Really happy to introduce Tega to the project, expanding our presence in Japan. He's our community lead out there, and he'll be working on some basic business development, communications channels, introducing us to the market, to different participants and key stakeholders out there. And the Japanese market is absolutely huge for cryptocurrency. So this is a really big deal for us that we have Tega on the team to help out. And also extremely important for us is that Hugh has joined us from Kenya. So Africa is a tremendous opportunity for this technology to make people's lives better. So there are some markets that have just a tremendous amount of activity going on there, exchange volume or other aspects of the crypto market. But in Africa is a tremendous opportunity for the technology to make people's lives better. So Hugh is coming on board to help us grow our community in Kenya and then the broader Africa region. And he's helping out with the same type of business development stuff there and outreach. So really happy to have him on the team as well. Okay, so now I want to get back into more detail on the Code Particle team, because these guys are going to be integral to our core blockchain development and these key special projects. So I'll highlight here the team. We have 4 dedicated senior developers and engineers, and they have additional support on demand for us. In particular, they're already looking at front-end developers to help make some of our products more user-friendly, so helping out with the UX, UI design work there. But their core mission for us is to support the core blockchain improvements and professionalizing our dev process, and then working on these high-value projects. In particular, one high-value project, for instance, would be like our ZenPub. So, or domain fronting, another high-value project, really important to what our roadmap is and what we're trying to do. So this is a new core team to our project, which I think is going to be absolutely orders of magnitude value enhancing to the project. So I'm really excited to have these guys on the team. So Pierre Shiro, he's actually the CEO of Code Particle. We've got Frank, the CFO, and we've got Pierre Stabilini. He's PS71. He's been part of our community for a while now, and actually introduced us to their team and their team to us. And then Nicola, who's just already diving deep into our code and suggesting improvements. So these guys are awesome. I'm really happy to welcome them to the project. So now going on to, we have a lot going on, and I want to summarize here our communication strategy, because sometimes it could look chaotic, and people sometimes question, like, what are you doing? Are you working on this or that? So here's, in a nutshell, kind of a snapshot of our communication strategy. So we have Waxman PR, which Waxman's been a really big supporter of the project from day one, from when we launched in New York City at the end of May. But we, at the same time, we are just starting to increase our engagement with them, since now the community has more resources and we can afford an enhanced scope of engagement. So Waxman is one of the dominant PR firms in the industry. They are an absolute powerhouse and just awesome people to work with. So they're doing media management, public releases. So anytime you see us and say Zencash mentioned in Forbes or some other high-end publication, it's because of Waxman, most likely. And these guys, they work tremendously behind the scenes, and we're just really happy to be working with them and expanding our scope with them. They're also, what we're doing additionally now for 2018 that we haven't done yet, is we're adding conference support, which is really important to the project, and something that we realized in the last few conferences is it takes a lot of logistics to do well at conferences. You can't just go and speak. Going and speaking is awesome and gives you tremendous exposure, but you also need to have finer detail and logistical support. Say a booth, and your logo well displayed, and swag at the booth, and people manning the booth who actually understand their project well. So we've had our own. We've learned the hard way that it's not easy doing this, kind of bringing our team from all over the world to go support booths. So Waxman actually provides dedicated conference support, where not only do they support you at the conference, but they're helping out with our strategic conference, or our conference strategy for 2018, so that we can maximize the resources that we have and pick and choose the conferences that will have the biggest impact to the project, and then help us get into key roles in each of these conferences. Okay, so Crypto Media Hub is a company you guys have all come to know and love working on the project. I can say at least I have. I absolutely love working with them. And they've been working hard in the background on our brand management, our core marketing functions, social media, and we just started some key advertising campaigns that we'll be talking about. So Actually, they're going to be speaking towards the end of this slide deck, so I'll reserve most of that for them. Ross, I mentioned already, he's working strategy, refining our message, our Zen elevator pitch, and then key video production. But then another big part of our comm strategy is enhancing our grassroots participation. So this is where I really look to anyone out there in the community who's an enthusiast on this project and think about how you can support the project. So what we want to do is we've already been enhancing the level of participation from some key members who have been participating and kind of saying, okay, you've been doing an amazing job. Let's give you some more responsibility. That's awesome. So I encourage everyone listening right now, think about how you can help the project and then submit a proposal in our forum or just reach out to us directly and say what you want to do, and we'll figure out a way to empower you to contribute. Okay, so that's going to be a big part of this project. We want to keep that going. Now, we need to get out there in the world. A big problem that we have is we have an awesome team. We have really cool technology. I think our vision's pretty solid. So now we need to get out there and let the world know what we're doing. So what we've been doing now in the podcast and interviews, just a quick highlight, in just the last 2 weeks, what we've been doing. So Rosario and I went on to Hablando de Bitcoin y Crypto, which is a Colombian and Venezuelan group that it has a key positioning in the Latin American overall market. And they had us on their show to introduce Zencash to their community. And it was a really cool feedback we got from them. So this would actually stem from meeting these guys in Bogota at the La BitConf in Bogota that we did in December. We met them, we went on their show and had a great time talking to their community, got some great feedback already. Another one that was really cool was I went on to Ascent Trading, which has a great group of crypto investors and just really savvy crypto people who have the same type of philosophy that we do for why we're doing this. We want a better world. So it's not like a pump and dump trading group, but a group of traders that have kind of like a shared vision that I think we can relate to. So I went on there. It was a really cool reception from their community. I talked to Ian from Free Talk Live on a podcast interview there. I was on the Scott Horton show. So both of these groups here, Free Talk Live comes from the New Hampshire Free State Project, which is a really big libertarian experiment in New Hampshire. So it was really cool to be on their show. And Scott Horton is a prolific anti-war activist. So it was cool going on there and talking about our own vision for the type of like free societies and peaceful societies that we're trying to do in the crypto world. And then a really important podcast that I went on to this last week was with Kevin Rose. So I highly recommend checking it out. From my perspective, Kevin is just a genius when it comes to this technology. He's already prolific in the space. He's early founder of Dig, tremendously successful, social media site. He's worked on other projects as an angel investor. He helps run a venture capital group right now, and just a very intelligent guy with the line of questioning they had, where the interview, I thought, just went into great detail of what our plans are for 2018. So definitely check it out. I think these types of things add a lot of value to the project by just getting us out there into the world more and not necessarily just echoing to the same community. Because if you're already part of this community, you're already familiar with Zencash. What we need to do now is expand outside of this particular community and grow into other communities. So that's what we're trying to do with our targeted interviews. So it's been pretty good there. Okay, so all of that is a ton of background on where we've been, where we're going. Now let's get into the nuts and bolts of what we're working on right now. So a big project for us that is very important is Ledger integration. Now this is a hardware wallet, and we've been talking about this for months. Now we've augmented the team, and the team is very motivated, and we've had some successes. So we're not there yet. Okay, so we still plan to be there in probably mid to late January, which isn't all that long. But we've had some successes that I'll mention. So we have the Chrome app successfully built. Cool. You can receive Zen on the Ledger device now, but you can't send Zen. So that's what we're troubleshooting now. The work in progress is fixing how the transactions are crafted so that we can actually send Zen. So when you can send and receive, then I think we're going to be at the completion stage here where we're going to be able to get this out onto the market. Okay. So, but there are other ways to keep your Zen offline. So cold storage is always a great idea for people. So one project we have in the meantime, since we don't have a hardware device, is our paper wallet. And our paper wallet has been redesigned, and you can check it out. So very cool for Robin did that. That's at Gniar, and Rocket, that's Gustavo on our team. Both have been wonderful helping on that project. So I highly recommend, if you're going to keep some Zen offline and you want to do it safely, check out the paper wallet. Okay, but in the meantime, we're working on the hardware wallet, and this is our first hardware wallet integration. But then we're going to have the team rotate it into the next hardware device. So offline storage is key to the project. It's definitely something important on our radar, and we're continuing to work on it. Now, the Swing wallet, our desktop GUI wallet, graphical user interface for Windows, has had some enhanced features, fixes, new binary release. So that's thank you, Ivan, for that work. We continue to improve our products. Moving on to the second development slide here. So we have the secure node system just launched last week on mainnet, and we're working on the first bulk payment right now. But part of this is going to be a big PR and marketing campaign around it, because the secure node implementation is a really big deal. So it's a really big deal because we're creating something new and unique to this industry, in that we're building out the industry's most decentralized node architecture, which has many, many longer term implications. Okay, so having a decentralized node architecture is great, but what you can do on top of the network, layering on additional services, is where the real future opportunity lays. But part of this is we need to get the word out. So we're structuring a marketing campaign that we're going to be releasing. So we finished a landing page for the marketing campaign. We're also trying to enhance the ability for people to get and test and experiment with Zen. So Gustavo just reset the faucet that we have, get Zen.cash, and that was released to the market again with some fixes so that people couldn't game it, at least game it in the same ways that they have. So it's always a challenge. It's kind of a cat and mouse game. The Arisen wallet continues to have a series of improvements. So we had fixes, multi-language support added. Team Lucas is working hard on that, and they have a comprehensive plan for 2018 to improve the wallet. Now, our website is, I'll tell you, our website is in draft mode right now, and I saw a draft version of it last week, and I have to say, I'm extremely impressed with what the team's doing. So the website looks awesome, and it's going to be a huge improvement over the current website. This is something we've been working on for a long time, and I'm going to be really happy to announce release of the new website along with our new logo soon. Okay, so that's on the development side there, but probably the most important development project on everyone's minds right now is the secure node project. So we've got a couple slides here on updating secure nodes. Let's see, Alan, if you're online, if you want to take over on the secure node slides, that would be really good. I think they always love hearing from you directly.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, I'll take over here. Just as an update, if you're working on the secure nodes, you can see that we are up over 4,500 nodes. Those came on pretty fast, a little faster than we anticipated, so we had a little growing pains in there. But we're continuing with the testing. We're trying to get through the payment system. We did try to make some payments on the 15th and ran into a few issues, so we just stopped, backed up, and we've been enhancing the payout system, breaking it down into multiple steps and checking every single item on each of the steps, going through an approval process. And there's a multi-sig signing process involved in that, so there is a level of complexity and checks and balances that we have to work through to be able to make sure that everything is working correctly and everything is getting paid out correctly. So on the things that we ran into was not just the database activity, but a little bit of communication. So we have re-architected a little bit the servers, reconsolidated, trying to get, we brought down the Southeast Asia servers, there we go, and those servers right now just had a little bit of communication problem, not keeping up with the database, so now we're going to have the two new sets of servers coming up. We'll have 2 North American and 2 European sets of servers, and we're going to be doing some load balancing across those. Next 2 weeks, we're going to have a new update to the tracking application on the nodes itself to be able to more dynamically do the load balancing without people having to change homes or home servers or anything like that. So all is going well at the moment. I'll put it that way. And we're doing the testing on testnet right now. I've been working on enhancing the payment system, and we're going to go through and do some testing the next day or so and see, and then move it over to mainnet, rework the servers, reconfigure the servers, I should say, and get the payments moving. And as it says at the bottom of the slide here, you don't see the payment records themselves generated on the node servers, but you will have payments going back to the 15th because it'll start at that date and then just start moving forward day by day to be able to generate all the sets of payments for each of the nodes. Back to you, Rob.
Okay, awesome. Roth, did you want to add anything to that? I know you've been doing a lot of work on the system as well.
Yeah, I've mostly been providing moral support to Alan and Chronic on this. They've both been doing a lot of work on this, and just like Alan said, I really want to thank everybody who's participating in the secure nodes. And I think we've already demonstrated that there's a big appetite for people to be running these nodes worldwide. And this is one of the important things. I mean, sometimes it's worth focusing on what the purpose of the exercise is. We certainly want to get this done right and pay people for running their nodes. But you can go to the Secure Nodes website, and if you're in a country that might have, some of your internet blocked or some parts not available, there's a whole list of domain names there that you can use on your wallet or other things to try to connect to active nodes that are out there. So as we go forward on this is going to be a large part of bringing Zen to everybody all over the world, and work to make sure that they're always able to connect to different nodes and have those available. And part of the reason for doing the certificates is so that even so further on down the line, we can do domain fronting to be able to, again, extend Zen to everybody everywhere in the world. So thanks, y'all, for running the secure nodes, and especially to Alan and Chronic for working so hard to get these things going. And I've got one slide for myself today, not too many, but I want to talk about exchanges. So I see a lot of talk about adding exchanges, especially in Asia and Japan and China and all over the world. I'd really like to be adding some African exchanges and Latin American exchanges and Russian exchanges and really all over the place. But there is one that we're on that is a completely decentralized exchange, Bisq. And I got on that this week, and there's not a lot of transactions on there. And so I put some buys and some sell offers out there, and would love to have people do more of these. So I did a screenshot of Bisq there, but it looks like in this version, it's been up and running for a little bit over 2 months, and the cryptocurrency that's getting the most use out of the Bisq network is Monero. They have a little bit over 600 transactions right now. I'm like, 600? That's not that many. And we could probably get a bunch of transactions on here. The neat thing is it's also got the ability for people to offer fiat conversion in just about every single currency, it looks like. And it looks like you can do things with PayPal, with like Chase Quick Pay, with all sorts of off-ramps and on-ramps for regular fiat currencies, as well as cryptocurrencies on there. And it's an app that you download and run on your computer, and you got to keep it up and running, and got to keep the computer connected so that it can help match things up. And that's one of the things with decentralized exchanges is getting things matching up. But I encourage everybody to give this a try, and if we can get some liquidity on the Bisq exchange, that certainly helps everywhere, especially for folks who want to be able to buy and sell Zen and not have to log on to an exchange where they have to go through all sorts of identifications and things like that. So if you and you can put a fixed percentage above and below the actual current price. I don't know. There's a lot of different features there. You can peg the specific price you want to sell it at or buy it at. The different amounts. You do have to put a little bit of Bitcoin in escrow to be able to do buying and selling on there. But I'd encourage everybody to give it a try. I think it'd be great if we could become the top cryptocurrency that's traded on Bisq. That would certainly be something to talk about. Rob, back to you.
Yeah, I think that's really awesome, Rolf. I also highly recommend everyone do that. And I need to do that myself, get on there and start making more trades and just add more liquidity. So this is where we should be going with the industry, decentralizing exchange volume. So the more we can help out, the better. And I love, Rolf, that you picked Monero right away and said, here's the leader. Let's target that and try to be the leaders out there ourselves. So definitely let's make that a call to the community. Very cool. Okay, so next up we have our country leads and some updates from them. So we'll see who's online. The first up here we have is Adnan in Australia and New Zealand market. Adnan, I don't believe is available right now on this call, so I'm going to just highlight his slides myself. So he's been working on opening channels with exchanges and potential partnerships in the region and doing community development. Adnan was featured in the People of Blockchain, where they mentioned Zen, which is great for us. And maybe more importantly, is that he has a vision for 2018 of community building, partnerships, exchange listings, and all the stuff that we need to be doing. And he has a pipeline of partnerships with the Blockchain Center, another service called Living Room of Satoshi, which is actually a really cool Australia-based service for paying your bills with cryptocurrency. So we also have Welto in the US market to do that, but this would be cool adding a similar service that's also extremely popular in Australia for adding Zen to that. Now he has an exchange pipeline, BTC markets and ACX, regional exchanges. So we're going to be working on that kind of business development and hosting monthly meetups, discussions for space with Blockchain Center, which is a no-brainer for us to be working with them. Stone and Chalk, Gravity Co-working. He's got an information packet he's evaluating and exploring sponsorship and booths at the Asia Pacific blockchain conference in 2018. So cool stuff going on there. The time zone doesn't work out well to have Adnan on here, but it's cool to have those inputs and see what's going on in the region. David, are you online to give the Russia, Eastern Europe market update? You have a ton going on there.
Yes, sir, I am, but you hardly leave any time for us. You've got so much things going on. It's like, well, I was going to take the next 20 minutes, but I know then Arno will kill me, so I'll try to be quick. Starting with the conference, as it was mentioned several times, I think having represented at these meetups where it's an extremely concentrated crowd, we call it crypto enthusiasts, investors, etc. I think it adds a lot of value to the development of the community and progress of the coin. I think the biggest and strongest message was just from the get-go, whether David was there or not, was the fact that there were only 3 speakers at the panel. It was Dash, Monero, and the Zencash, and I was sitting in the middle. The other 2 you guys see were moderators. So I was extremely pleased that they invited us, and I think it was quite a bit of success. I mean, I'm not going to go into details of all the networking that happened afterwards. This picture that you see in the middle, nobody's drunk there. It's just a bunch of Zen fans with the T-shirts of Zen. Took some pictures there. By the way, I was very happy that a bunch of people showed up. There was a group of miners who have been mining Zen since summer, and they were very happy with it. Met some cool people. People have been mentioning concrete names who contributed a lot to community, and one of them I really would like to add was Vladimir Polishchuk, goes by Vova, who up until last minute before the meeting was still supporting troubleshooting secure nodes for Russian-speaking community on the Telegram channel of Zen.ru. By the way, just so you guys know, the main Zen channel, Russians have been laughing at you because we have more active community there by the number of messages than somebody was. Of course, it's a joke, but somebody was joking like in an hour it was like 400 messages in the Zen.ru, and there was only like 54 in the main Zen or something. Of course, there's a lot of gossiping about Putin and stuff, but we're pretty active there, and I'm happy with the community. I was afterwards. I met with a CML team that's a bunch of developers, 4 guys in Kiev based, and I've been communicating with them remotely, kind of talking about different opportunities, and we met them in person. And there's obviously there's much more valuable to meet somebody in person, shake hands, and look each other in the eye than just a bunch of chatting. And it was not just shaking hands and parting. Actually, Alex, like literally 30 minutes ago, Alex Z, our Russian community lead, just emailed them some really cool integration of Zen in one of the platforms that I will probably leave for the next meeting to for a surprise. I'd like to at least get some headway there. And before I start talking about it, last but not the least, I was interviewed by a local journalist there about Zencash, plans for 2018 and the past 2017 summary that will be published in both Russian and English, and I will post a link on our social media channels. Now I'm in the country of Georgia, another part of Eastern Europe, where we have organized hackathon for a bunch of gifted middle school kids in Tbilisi, Georgia. Some of you may remember I mentioned it maybe 2-3 months ago, and this was very much planned and calculated. And I'm glad that it went extremely well. They actually did it almost for free. We just took care of the prizes. It was, of course, Zen is all about good cause, and we've supported a bunch of different, initiatives in the past. But this one was actually a combination of a good cause and marketing. I don't want to sound too sneaky, but these gifted children have actually very, very, technologically advanced parents who are the most likely community to be active in the cryptocurrency world. As you all know, people who are more sort of at the leading edge, to say nicely, about all the news. They were the ones. Long story short, lo and behold, one of the parents showed up, who apparently is the founder of the blockchain and crypto news portal, who agreed to be our informational partner here in Georgia. So that was great. I will be coming back to the US tomorrow. I have a night, but a couple of really interesting meetings. I'm hoping to, will be very productive. One of them is with the first crypto hedge fund here in Georgia that are interested in Zencash. So the follow-up will be in the next meeting. And last but not the least, just kind of everybody has been doing a little summary. So far, we have published 10 articles this past few weeks on our main partner, rootcrypto.com. One of them included their recommendations, being in the top 5 coins. And one of the other things that I realized my role is changing to is helping the new country leads in the territory kind of spin up and get up to speed much quicker than it took us, the sort of a first generation country leads like myself and Arno and a few others. It took me a lot of time to kind of literally, as Rob said, we all started 6 months ago, so we are all new to this. You guys got to remember. So I've developed like a rapid David courses, and I want them to be up and running in like 3 days or 1 week. And I already have kind of jokingly one of the country leads in the alpha mode, and one of them is in beta right now. So hopefully I'll give Rob a pleasure to release them publicly in next meeting or so. And I think that's it. Just in the interest of time, I want to leave more time for others as well.
Awesome, Davi. You had some really incredible updates, and I have to say I love the fact that you're doing a hackathon for kids. I think that's just really cool. So amongst all of the other interesting stuff that's going on. So okay, cool. I think in these types of activities are going to pay huge dividends in the long run for us as a project, because we are truly decentralizing and pushing out into the world our project, and not just keeping it close hold of any particular region. So really happy with what's going on there. Another team leader that I think is just doing a tremendous job. Luca, are you online to talk about the Italian market?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
It sounds great.
Okay, cool. Hello, Robert. Hello, everybody on the line. So I'm here to talk a little bit about what's going on in the Italian market. Basically, as you can see from the slide, first thing I want to say is that it has been 2 very interesting weeks from what we have been able to carry out, starting with a new interview that has been released on tuttocryptovalute.com. Now, this is an emerging website blog. Sorry for the typo. It's Tutto Cryptovalute with an I instead of the U on the link. And well, basically, you can look for the interview if you wish. It's in Italian, of course. I had the chance to release this interview. It's full of questions regarding what is Zencash, what are the strengths, how does it compare with the other privacy coins, etc. I think it was a good way to show once again what is our project, who we are, where we want to go. And on the other hand, I'm creating marketing documentation, starting with Privacy Coins Comparison 2018. That's the title of a document I'm currently doing. Basically, a comparison between Zencash and other coins. I think it will be very useful, not only in the Italian market, but for all the markets, of course, from a marketing perspective, and projects with a touch of Italy, because I want to exploit the fact that you, Robert, have some Italian origins. I think it's a good thing to be leveraged here in the Italian market. We are missing Italian projects. There are only a few of them. Zencash can be considered one of them. So I'm also doing this kind of document. And then from the social channels, I'm also very proud because we've got more than 300 likes in 2 weeks. So that was our original goal. We have met it before the end of the year. So now we have we have a little community, but is growing in the last days. We can work with it. We can, of course, make it grow more and more, and starting organizing interesting activities with the Italian community. Also, the Instagram channel was officially launched. This happened yesterday, so we will, of course, exploit it as well together with the Facebook channel. And I also could see that from Twitter, Italians took part to the Christmas contest. So that was also very interesting to watch. I guess we will be talking about the Christmas contest later on with the presentation. And finally, I want to leave you with a quote that was released to me by one of our community member, which is Zencash has the best crypto Discord, Slack, Telegram, whatever I've ever found. You can see what the devs are doing. They are putting great effort in marketing. You can be part of it. It's really amazing. I love the communication, and I'm impressed by all the regional channels it has. So, Robert, I give you the ball back. This was all from the Italian channel.
Awesome, Luca. You're doing a great job out there as well. So let's see. I think Arno, I don't think Arno's online for the German market. If I'm wrong, just chime on in. Otherwise, I'll just go through the slide myself. But yeah, we're picking up effort in Germany as well. So Zencash Germany online community Facebook is growing, and we also have an interesting partnership with another project that is doing an ICO called SocialX. And this isn't, like Zencash sponsoring SocialX. It's SocialX is accepting Zen as a form of payment for their ICO. So they have Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Zen. So I think that alone says something about our project, that people are willing to now or looking to us as another coin for this cryptocurrency market, as like one of the important coins on the market that they would be willing to accept. So that's really cool. Arno's done a phenomenal job working with those guys and trying to help them understand how to integrate Zen to be able to accept it as part of their fundraising. So there's other meetups in Frankfurt. Meetup by PwC probably on the 19th of January that we'll have some Zencash participation in. And Arno has been working on focal points for 2018, standardization of processes, and he's focusing hard on the governance and the voting system, and we'll be participating there. I know he's been reviewing a bunch of other projects on the market right now and providing some interesting inputs to our R&D team that will be working on our protocol level voting system. And he's continuing to collaborate in the energy sector on use cases. So hopefully some nice stuff going on in 2018 that we'll be able to announce. So, okay, so the China market, again, I don't think that Jin's online, but if you are, Jin, if you just came on, feel free to chime in. Otherwise, I'll just go through your slides as well. Now, the China community is continuing to grow. So we have a WeChat group currently with almost 200 members. We're just shy at 199 members, which is a 30% plus increase from the last update. So if we get that kind of growth going forward, our numbers will be jumping quite a bit. We opened up a Weibo account and ready for the next marketing campaign. And there's been some tech updates. So Jin's team already has a developer in-house, and he's been putting together some technical documentation. In particular, the first project was some technical documentation to the Chinese market on how to set up and operate secure nodes. And they're working on publishing a Chinese handbook for Zencash wallets. So cool stuff there. We're getting some organic traction in that market, which is a kind of a weird market now that the government has shut down their exchanges. So it's cool that we have kind of a team on the ground that's growing organically, and that's just nice to see. So Rowan, I see you online. You've got some great updates for the UK market. Do you want to chime in?
Sure. Yeah, no problem at all.
Cool.
So we're only talking about the kind of last 4 weeks since we kicked things off, but I thought I'd start just by kind of looking back as to what we've actually done so far. So first bit of great news is that we've managed to persuade somebody to join the Zencash community and accept Zen in their venue. So that's Engage Gaming, really cool place in Aberdeen. They've got 23, 25 gaming rigs set up. They've got a pub and they've got restaurants and they've got virtual reality and all that kind of stuff. So anybody coming into that venue can buy their drink with Zen. They can jump onto the games. They can do whatever they need to do. So that's really, really good. We've also attended a bunch of pretty successful meetups. We've done 2 in Edinburgh, 1 in Glasgow so far. And we sponsored an esports tournament with Engage Gaming, which is something we'll definitely be continuing to do. We managed to get Zencash mentioned on Bitcoin.com twice, which is fantastic. I mean, that's a huge website with something like 2.7 million visits per month. So having Zencash even in there, even just as a name and a link to the website, is fantastic. We also got a really good article written by a UK blogger at Bitcoin 101. So that was published on Ed Uncovered. A little bit of advertising for the guys there up on top. And that's kind of been it in the last 4 weeks. There's been lots of other things that we're working on and lots of things that I'm looking forward to sharing in the future. But as for things that are concrete and solid and done, that's kind of where we're at. So looking ahead into 2018, first thing I want to try and do, and I'm kind of most of the way through already, is to jump on with Operation Radical Transparency and roll out a kind of UK specific roadmap of what we need to do to try and push Zen out across the UK and make it really clear which tasks are going to be done and where we have any gaps, so that any member of the community can jump in and say, hey, you know what, I could really add something here, and make it nice and easy for that to happen. Probably the top most important thing that we need to work on is securing a Great British Pound and Zen trading pair. There's a couple of potential options that I'm working on at the moment. A bit too early to really speak about them in any detail, but that is kind of the very, very top of the priority list for the next 12 months. We're then talking about expanding the team for UK coverage. I mean, At the moment, it's just myself working here in the UK actively with Zencash. I can only be in so many places at once, so we're working to try and get some extra people in, UK representatives, to attend a whole bunch of other meetups around the nation and events and conferences and that sort of thing. I've already started a monthly Zencash meetup, which is going to be kicking off next week, just dodging the festive season. So that's going to be in Aberdeen to start with, but it's going to be kind of touring after that. So I'm going to do Aberdeen, then Edinburgh, then Glasgow, and then I'm going to head down south and meet up with a couple of guys that are looking to come into the Zencash fold, and probably hold a meetup in Newcastle, and then one in Manchester, and then one in London. So we're just doing a bit of a tour. The kind of grassroots marketing thing is all great, attending the meetups and all the rest of it, but we also are going to put a lot of effort into ramping up kind of more traditional marketing, including some advertising and bits and pieces on a range of different blogs and all the rest of it. And then lastly, continuing with the kind of global content creation and getting involved with the community as best as physically possible. We need people to be on the forum and answering questions and jumping into Telegram and Discord and all the different channels. So that's, again, really important. And that is about it, I think, Rob.
Awesome, Rowan. Really cool stuff going on in UK. And I'll throw a little teaser out there for another one of your compatriots out there, James. So he's at Mac on the forums. Now, I have to say, I'm extremely pumped to have him working on the project as well. He has an awesome IT background. He's been setting up a ton of secure nodes. He's a developer. He's a CTO on another project. And he'll be helping out on increasing capacity on the project. So we'll talk more detail about his joining the team next week or next 2 weeks. But
absolutely.
Yeah. So that's a really cool ad. You guys are kind of a powerhouse out there in UK. I'm really pumped about that market. Cool. Well, next up we have Angie. Are you online to talk about Mexico and Latin American market?
Yes, I am. Hello.
Awesome. Have at it.
Hi there to everyone. Well, some of the things from Mexico, I think that the headlines are that we have our social media channels are up and running. There's the Facebook right now as Zencash Mexico and Latin America, and also the Instagram, which appears to have more movement and interest from people, because we have almost 140 followers in only 1 week, which is amazing. And we've seen a lot of movement and interest from a lot of people in the community from the Latin American markets. There's the first Zencash meetup coming up in my city, which the date is going to be announced pretty soon. And as I say, there's a lot of growing enthusiasm from the Latin American communities, people from everywhere, from different countries, and especially in Mexico as well. We recently have a conversation, and this was coming from our Zencash Facebook channel. And we are going to start a collaboration with a group of crypto enthusiasts called Bitcoiners. And we will be hoping to host our first meetup as well in Cancun in the next few months. We're going to start planning things and this event with them, so we can spread the word in different cities and all around Mexico of Zencash, of course. And there's also a lot of interest in documents translating to Spanish. As you all know, the guides and the information, the very basics and our core information. And there's a lot of people asking me for the translations of these documents. So we're going to start as well giving support in the Spanish language to the community that is having a huge and a great demand for these documents and the information, because they want to get involved. They want to see Zencash growing in these markets. So we're gonna start giving them the support that they need. And I think so far it's so good. We are gonna start doing a lot of work in the next few months. We hope to have a wonderful 2018 in the next coming months. So with a lot of activity and a lot of Spanish content for the people that is demanding that. So everything you need, anything you need. Sorry, any questions or anything, just let me know. Write me, and I'll be here to help. Hopefully, thanks.
Sweet, Angie. Thank you very much. Again, another very important market. I'm very excited to have you working on growing. Okay, cool. We're running a bit over time today. I know there's a lot that we wanted to cover, and we wanted to summarize 2017 and talk about 2018. But let's move on to the logo competition winners. So we can announce the winners, and we want to say a huge thank you to the community and to everyone who participated. It was quite a massive participation. We had over 90 logos submitted and over 900 votes that went through the competition. So the winner logo came from Primordial and Dom. So congratulations to them, and thank you very much for the effort and all of the time that you guys put in to the project. Overall, we collected almost 46 Zen total from voting. Half of that is going directly to the winners, and you can see the winner distribution here. The top 4 winners, with the first and second getting 8 Zen, and then the third, Michael, getting about 4.5 Zen, and the fourth for Foundation getting about 2.25 Zen. So the other 50% is going to be used to mint a special edition Zen physical coin. That was an idea from Rolf, Block Ops. So that'd be really cool to start distributing those coins. And everyone who voted is eligible to get one of these coins. So that'll be really fun. And you can see the logo in the next slide that actually won the competition. So this was the logo, and you can see a bunch of other logo submissions on the right. Thank you, Gustavo, for putting this together. Now, I'll tell you that the logo that we're going to go forward with, well, this is the logo, but our marketing team has been working with the designers to tweak it to the color palette that will mesh with our overall rebranding, and that will feed into our website. So that was really cool having this done, and we'll be showing you the specific new logo that will be integrated into our website the next time, or when we actually launch the website. So on that note, let's move it over to Callie. I see you're online. Do you want to just take the marketing slides here, talk to those? Cool, Callie. So I see you took yourself off mute, but I don't see or hear you. Don't hear your mic. So if you're having mic issues, then I could just go through the slides myself. But if you fix the mic issues, just chime in, and I'll just hand it back to you. So okay, cool. So
I was going to say something on that, Rob. That sometimes you have to go into the settings of the Discord itself and change your microphone input to something else. So maybe, Callie, that's what you got to do.
Okay. Anyway. Awesome. Yeah, and Callie, yeah, if you get that, just interrupt me and we'll switch it back over to you. But so like I said, there was I got to see the draft website, and it's pretty awesome. Here's just a quick snapshot, a little sneak preview of the site, and we've been putting a lot of effort into the content and the design. So we've had some designers in there. Michael in particular has just been doing a phenomenal job. We've had Zenchik, Rosario, Gustavo, Jane, different team members working on the content itself. So really good work to everyone. And I just cannot wait personally to release this new website. We had a cool charitable campaign over the holidays. We've been working with BitGive, which is a charity, a cryptocurrency-based charity. And we as a project donated $2,500 worth of Zen, but then we also had a matching campaign where community members could donate, and they donated about 7 Zen, so we'll be matching that. So that's really nice to see that we're actually helping out people real time. So thank you to everyone who participated there. We also had a cool Christmas contest that went on where we had different members of the community submit these really often hilarious memes and graphics and other marketing messages and doing graphics and retweet campaigns, messages and doing graphics and retweet campaigns, messages and doing graphics and retweet campaigns, messages. Okay, so we have someone joined. I think we're getting a lot of feedback from the join. Okay, cool. Let's continue. Okay, cool. So the Christmas contest was just a lot of fun and pretty hilarious sometimes. So thank you, everyone. I guess Cryptic Prestige had 72 likes and 96 retweets. Thank you very much. And Rep Police had 49 likes, 33 retweets. And Lena, 23 likes. Elena, you had 10 likes, 4 RTs. North Pole, 8 likes, 3 RTs. And Ratajski with 14 likes. So thank you very much, everyone, for participating. That was just really cool to see the community step up like that. And the next slide just shows you some of the other cool graphics from the Christmas contest. In particular, I love the cat there with the Santa cat and the snow logo. You see the Zen logo written into snow. That's really cool. So cool. So going forward here, again, Callie, just feel free to chime in whenever that mic's working if you can.
Hi, Rob. Can you hear me now?
Oh, totally. Yeah, you're good. Perfect timing.
So sorry about that. I had to completely restart Discord. Thanks for taking over there for a moment.
No worries.
Okay, great. So sorry if I'm repeating a little bit, but I'll just go off of the slide here. So we still have the Secure Node campaign live. These are just the first 9 to 10 days of results. So you can see here, we're getting a lot of impressions. It sounds like from the feedback from each media placement that our ads are doing quite well. You can see with Bitcoin Media, they actually said we're performing above average and we'll receive about 100,000 extra impressions. Diario Bitcoin, we're just waiting to receive some results from them. I think because of the holidays, we just haven't heard back, but we'll have an update. We'll have an update each call letting you guys know how these banner ads are going, but so far so good. I think they're doing quite well. If you could go to the next slide, please. And we're also doing some Facebook ads. The main focus is just brand awareness. We're doing boosted posts, which this is one of our first boosted posts. The reach is quite good. The engagement, I'd like to see a little bit higher. So we're going to play around with some things and see what performs better. But it's really nice to also see that we're getting a decent engagement from women as well. It's not just, an 80-20 split. It's about 40% women. The ages is not a huge surprise, but what's also interesting is all of our boosted posts are in English on the English Facebook page, but we're getting a huge result. So that's great to see too. So this was our first boosted post. The next slide shows our second boosted post. And it's somewhat similar results. Again, a large percentage from Russia, 33% women, and the engagements I'd like to see a bit higher. So we're going to keep boosting posts each week and seeing how those perform. Generally, Facebook does better with less verbiage on the actual post, so we'll focus on more design-heavy posts than written communication. So yeah, we're just testing and seeing what works best.
You're welcome, Kelly.
Thanks, David. Actually, I wanted to talk to you about maybe combining efforts, so I'll chat with you after.
Sure. Later. Sorry, I had to pull your leg in the back.
No, it's good. It's good. The next slide is our actual paid advertisement that just ended yesterday. And the one thing that really stood out to me is the estimated recalls. So this is an estimate by Facebook, but they said this ad, over 4,000 people would remember seeing the ad. So I was excited to see that. Also, 161 people took action after viewing the ad. So that means either liking it or hitting the learn more button or hitting our website from it. So Obviously, we want to keep continuing to increase the actions, but for our first Facebook ad, I felt like this is a good little starting point. And again, 30% women, 69% men. So yeah, we're going to keep testing. And again, this is increasing the brand awareness for these ads. I can't remember what the next slide is. So these are the, so we're doing Facebook ads for 4 weeks. That one was the first one. And you can see we're going along the same similar theme, but trying out different looks. Also going to try out different interests, focusing on different locations. So yeah, like I said, we're just going to keep testing and see what performs the best. But this is just a preview of the ads we're going to be doing in the next 3 weeks. We have some great analytics from this last month. It's actually not even the full month. It's just the 28 review. We have 11,400 followers on Twitter. So that's very exciting. As you can see, the top bar is all green. You know, our followers have increased by almost 3,000 just in the last 28 days. So help us keep going. Obviously, if you're not following us, please jump on and follow Zencash Official, retweet our posts, mention us. Let's just get involved and keep those numbers growing. Facebook has also grown a good amount as well. So that's pretty much all green. The only thing that hasn't increased is the actions on page. And all that means is people haven't clicked on the learn more button as much. But as you can see, our reach is up by almost 3,000%. The page likes are up, the post engagements. So our goal by the end of the year was 1,800. We're at 1,442. I have faith we can get there in the next few days. So help us out, share our posts, like our posts, mention us, recommend our page to friends. If you don't already like the Zencash page, please go on and like it. I'd really love to see 1,800 by next Monday. And then the next slide is not marketing. So anyway, that's our update. I know sometimes people feel like we're not doing too much, but we're getting there. So I appreciate everyone's support and feedback. You can talk to us in the marketing Discord channel as well. Thanks, Rob.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Callie. I mean, you guys are doing it. I think sometimes it's thankless work because you're doing so much and there's such high expectations of what we're doing, and people honestly don't see all of the work that goes into it. And some of the detailed thought that goes into this stuff and methodical approach that you guys have. So I think what we have going on in 2018 is going to be a tremendous difference from what we had going on in 2017, with just the level of effort, engagement, organization that we're seeing now. And we're actually just starting to do some advertising, which we haven't been doing. So really excited to see what's going forward there. Now, the next slide is about upcoming events and conferences. This is also another way for us to get out into the world. So it's kind of like another form of marketing, actually getting out and giving talks, setting up booths, sitting on panels, just to get more awareness, specifically within our industry and maybe tangential industries. So one conference, the first that I have going on for the new year, is going to be on the 15th and 16th in San Francisco. It's for the World Crypto Economic Forum. I'll be a speaker there, and we're just debating whether or not we should also have a more enhanced presence, maybe with a booth, for instance. So that'll be a good one. And in particular, I had the idea of, we need to really push hard for our expansion into Asia, because this is just a massive market that we need to methodically kind of jumpstart our efforts. So I'm debating right now. I already have a trip tentatively out to Hong Kong towards the end of January, and I'm thinking about basically spending a few more additional weeks on the road in the region to meet with key potential partners and other kind of growing the community in some of the key markets there. So I mean, just off the top of my head, I'm thinking, Hong Kong, Singapore, Korea, Japan, major markets we need to put some serious effort into. So that's something on my radar for the early part of this next year. And also, we've increased our scope of engagement with Waxman PR to help design our conference participation strategy. So we've also had Crypto Media Hub help out a lot with that. Tatiana has been absolutely incredible in helping put us into key speaking roles and involved in key conferences. So between the two of them, I think we have just some incredible professional support now going forward for 2018. So anyway, so that's what I have. Now, we've gone almost 50% overtime, so I'll try to keep this short. Now, in the biweekly update chat channel, if you guys post any Q&A stuff that you want me to cover before we sign off, I'll try to get to that in basically the next 5 minutes. And if not, we're going to call it from here because we've already gone quite a bit overtime. So, okay. So any other questions that you guys might have? I know that there's some questions of why we're doing marketing on Facebook since we're a privacy coin. So I'll say one thing is we have a core community already, but we're trying to get more people to understand the importance of privacy. And sometimes these people that could be part of our community are lurking in other channels that really don't make sense, or maybe they just don't realize how important privacy is, but they would if we pull them into our community. So that's why you'll see us working in other channels that might have quite a bit of blockchain or crypto and interest in them, but if we market to them, maybe we can rope them into joining our more privacy oriented community. Yeah, people, we get feedback all the time of why is the price not jumping? Why don't we release more information right now to get the price up? That is absolutely against our ethos. We are taking the moral high road any opportunity that we have, and we release information when it makes sense to release information, not prematurely and not to pump the price. We release information when we actually have legitimate updates to the project that it's time to start marketing. So we have some cool stuff in the pipeline, but for everything in the pipeline, you have to realize there's always a risk of us signing deals, a risk of us maturing a technology to a production level mode. So that's been our philosophy, and that's what we're going to keep doing, because we are not a pump and dump coin. We're in this for the long run in creating a sustainable, lasting organization that will make a difference.
Let's see, follow-up question. Can we make the resources of this presentation available afterwards? Yeah, we had done that in the past. Certainly this live stream is going to go into our YouTube channel, usually a couple days after it's posted. We go through and trim it up a little bit so it starts playing right away. Hopefully we can download the slides as picture slides and post all the slides and the YouTube video on the blog. It takes a little bit of time to do that, but it's probably worth doing that. And then the country leads and certainly have the ability to access the raw slides on the back end. Oh, an update. I interpreted that question wrong. For the conferences that we're going to, can we make those types of things available as well? Rob, you usually post the different talks that you do there. But you don't normally post your slides.
Yeah, that's a great point. Maybe we could write a blog post for every conference where we post the slides and a link to the video, because we typically have like a live stream while we're speaking, and that's usually posted.
Right. And we probably want to maybe do a little bit more of telling folks what conferences we're going to be at and what our presence is going to be. And certainly after we get those metal Zen coins minted, we're going to want to have a way to hand out many of them person to person with country ambassadors or at conferences or things like that. So we have to mail as few of them as possible. Face-to-face interaction is going to be good for this.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Well, I think that's, I don't know, Ralph, are you monitoring the YouTube channel? See if there's any questions there, but otherwise we're good to go. And we've hit about an hour and a half here on the live stream. So
yeah, there's a couple questions on secure nodes. Do we think secure node payments are going to start on mainnet within the next 2 weeks? The goal is definitely to get it done within 2 weeks. The sooner the better. Alan and Chronic and now some of the additional developers are working to make that happen. We really we have no reason to hold on to the funds that are in the payment. It's all allocated towards the secure nodes. So the more that builds up means the more work we're going to have to do once we get going. So we just want to get those working. Another question: Are we going to change the staking amount for the secure nodes? I'm not sure that there's any reason to change the staking amount for the secure nodes. First off, we needed to see, how well it works at the level that we chose. It's working better than we expected it. So, and the purpose of the staking amount is not to lock up Zen. We want many people around the world having Zen in their wallets and using it for face-to-face transactions. So there's no reason to increase the amount. Unless we need to.
Yeah, and Rob.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I was just going to chime in, and I totally agree with that, and I get this question all the time as well. And I'll say from an economics perspective, it really doesn't matter, right? If we increase the payout ratio, then you're going to have more nodes join the network, which is going to drop the per node payout anyway. So from my perspective, I could see this as maybe if we increase it, it's kind of a signal of the relative importance of the secure node network. But in terms of the operator payout, it probably won't be much different, even if we increase the payout.
Right. There's the payout, and then there's the amount of Zen that you have to put up just to run a node. So,
right.
Yeah, and doing those would have different effects. But let's see how it works out with the original plan. And then another question: if we change over to a different, I call it drop a different engine into the Zen Lambo, is to is that going to change the idea of having secure nodes? To me, any kind of decentralized protocol is going to require nodes and for the ability to have wallets connect to them. So I see that there's always going to be a need for having secure nodes, and that's an important part of what we're doing. And I guess I'll take this opportunity to correct something that I believe I see as a misconception. Secure nodes are not necessary for people to use shielded transactions. So those are two different things. So shielded transactions, you're able to use those right away with the Swing wallet, with the command line node application. Secure nodes are not necessary in order to use shielded transactions, but secure nodes are necessary to have everybody on that want to use Zen have something to connect to and to transmit the transactions across the world quickly and to keep everything up and running. So that's all I got. Rob, you got anything else?
No, I think this covers everything that I wanted to cover today. So yeah, thank you everyone for chiming in. This was, I think, a really good update. We have a lot going on, and I think as we move forward into 2018, you're going to see some very interesting stuff going on with the project, just from the way we organize to the way we're getting out into the world and empowering different members of the community, and just the technology research and development that we have in the roadmap is extremely exciting. So thank you for being part of the project, and please continue to participate and think about how you can join and work directly with us, because we're so happy to have new members of the community step up. So that's all I have. Thank you very much, and everyone have a great day and enjoy the rest of the holidays.
Thank you.